Ooh, so listen, guys, Avenue Chat on IGTV. I'm so excited to bring this series back to you guys. Um, Avenue Chat is something that I introduced several months back when I did the podcast about nothing is literally what it was called, but it's the same platform, same format, same idea. We having transparent conversations with people that matter, and I'm really excited about today's guest. Man, is my guy Leo Ayrault from Michigan. So man, he's got a real awesome story that I'm excited for you guys to hear, for you guys to be able to follow, introduce you guys to a very, very unique individual who has a heart for people and leadership, and same exact thing that I do, man, just gratitude and being able to tell your story in a way that is open and free for people to hear, learn from, get some wisdom from, man. So yeah, when he taps in, man, I'm excited to introduce you guys to Leo. What's up, everybody logging in? I appreciate you logging in and joining today's Avenue Chat.
Yeah,
Leo,
yay. I
what's up?
made it.
Man, you were clear today.
I know, right?
Yeah,
This is what I look like.
how are you doing, man?
Life is good. Life is good. What do you think? Blue, purple? I'm gonna go blue. Let's go blue.
We're going blue?
You got red, so let me go blue.
Okay, okay. So why blue, man?
It's just, I bring water. I'm calm like water. I adapt like water.
Fluidity like water.
Fluidity like water. Exactly. And there's my Nat King Cole painting right there.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. All right. So I'm gonna send the invite out to people right now, and then we'll tap into this conversation, man. I'm excited about this conversation.
Me too. I'm pumped.
All right, man. You ready?
Yeah.
Cool, man. So Leo Ayrault, man, I've known about you for a little bit. I got introduced to you, or I'm gonna say I got introduced to the concept or idea of you. That's a little bit dramatic. Sometimes my word choice is a little bit dramatic through my better half, Alex LaRue. And I know, man, you've known Alex a long time, and Alex has done nothing but talk so very highly about you and your intention for people and your heart for people and the idea of celebrating gratitude and celebrating transparency and celebrating leadership, right? And so, man, what I found really amazing is being introduced to you and then actually realizing that you are Asian, right? But then you have broken every boundary of being an ethnicity that is not from America, right? And so what that looks like, and just trying to tap into what all of those boundaries are, because I know as an African American, they're definitely present. I don't know what those look like as an Asian. So that's one thing that I definitely want to discuss with you. Second thing, man, is reality tell your story.
Tell your vision. Reality tell your vision.
Reality tell your vision, right? Mm-hmm. How did you come up with that? What is the intention of that? What is the purpose of that? I was diving into the website a little bit, man, just realizing that you definitely have a heart for other people telling their story from a place of leadership or identifying leadership.
Big time.
Yeah.
So that question, the second question you just asked about reality tell your vision, where that comes from, it's just so weird. I was literally just thinking about it, as I got out of the shower.
Yeah.
But for me, like you mentioned, I was born and raised in Japan.
Okay.
So when I moved to this country, it was a huge cultural shock. I didn't know. I had to learn school in a completely different language. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to adjust how to make friends with people, how to interact with people, how to interact with girls. Cause I was last semester of eighth grade going freshman year, sophomore year. And all, I went to 3 different schools in the first 2 years of living in America. So like, I never really had a chance to just like settle down, you know, and get used to people and have build friends. Like I was always constantly on the move.
Yeah.
And while I was constantly on the move and going to different schools, I had to, you know, endure being that new kid that has no idea who anybody is. And I did it 3 times. The first time I was like, all right, how do I fit in? Second time I was like, okay, maybe I can fit in better. And then the third time I'm like, I can be whoever I want. People wouldn't know, you know what I mean? Like I can be a character and they wouldn't know if that's the real me or not.
Right.
So, but being by myself taught me how to be myself because I couldn't play characters. I had to just be me, you know, and adapt my own way.
Right.
So I struggled a lot in the beginning, you know, like how you know, you know, lunch tables. I never really, you know, I sat alone a lot, you know, or
Yeah.
I sat with the kid who was alone, you know, or like pep rallies. Everybody's all hyped, like, yo, we got no 6 hour. But now I'm like, you know, like I gotta find somebody to sit with and stuff like that, you know, and like that's not something, you know, it was tough times, you know, and lunchtime, like I remember like, you know, hurry up and eating my food, you know, and like acting like I had to go to the office. But really I was just like circling around the hallway so that I didn't look like a loner at the table. Like I've done that like so many times, you know, but like I said, being by myself taught me how to be myself. And I'm a lot more comfortable in my own skin than a lot of people in this point in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So it ended up benefiting me. Life happened for me. So I'm grateful for that. But what it did for me as far as my business goes is that during that time, all I wanted was somebody to be like, hey man, like, what's up, man? Like, you who? Cool. Like, come sit with us. Or like, hey man, like, you watch Family Guy? Come sit with us. You know, like
Yeah.
the same ability that we have as humans to find the difference in one another is the same ability we have in finding the similarities in one another.
Yes.
I choose to exercise the similarity because that's what I needed during that time. I just needed people to just say, you know what? Yeah, he's tall. Yeah, I can't really tell if he's white or Asian or not.
Right.
But he's a human being. He talks, walks just like me. Let me include him. He's got a smile on his face just like us. Let me just talk. Let me include him. You know. And some people did, and they're still my friends today. But fewer than, you know, a lot fewer than you think. You know, a lot of people are just about themselves, especially during that time in their lives. They're trying to find their own identity or be along in their clique and try to, you know, do that. I'm like, I was way over here, you know? So with my business, you know, I tell people stories, whether you're an artist or a business owner or, you know, a foundation or anybody. I acknowledge the special qualities that you bring to the table because we're all our own unique individuals. We all have our own fingerprints. You know, God created us, universe created us to be like, you know, a real, right? Like a human being first. And it's easy to find what makes you beautiful, but we choose to look at what makes us different. But if we choose to look at what makes us beautiful, and I put my camera on that, then it's just like an amazing moment because it's not just, oh, I made you a video. Look how dope it looks. It's like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like we really celebrated us together. So that's what led me to do what I do today. So if I didn't go through that, loneliness, and if I didn't feel what it's like to just be ignored, I wouldn't have the desire to treat people with love and respect, you know?
Right. What I really love about that, man, is, you know, is definitely tapping into what we have in common or what the common ground is or what we have as similarity things, right? I think what that does is that builds a common connection or common cohesion or common just place of unity with that person. You know, and I think that it is an example that is not advocated for enough right now in life, or really for the longest time in life that I can remember. I think that celebrating things that are different or celebrating things that cause division is definitely something that has been advocated for more so than just, hey, what do you have in common with me? Or, hey, what did you do? Man, I liked how you did that. Oh, yeah, man, I like those shoes right there. I like shoes too. And instead, you want to find things that are different and then allow people to feel like they're frowned upon. Which, man, all that does is just continue this perpetual thing.
Exactly.
That, you know, makes people feel like they are an outcast, or they are at this table to where, man, and I love how you use the illusion of sitting in school at lunch, and you feel like you have to circle around the table to feel like, allow people to feel like you just trying to circle around the table and make your rounds. You're not being cast out, because I mean, I went through that a little bit, and that's definitely a real thing. But learning how to be by yourself, and you embracing that and you accepting that, is very strong and very powerful. So, man, I think that's wonderful, for real.
And to piggyback off of what you just said, Casey, because you bring a good point, right? And what happens when we decide to see the similarities in one another? Let me show you. You want me to tell you what the result is?
Let's go.
I am living proof of the result.
Come on.
My mother is Japanese. My father is American. At one point in human history, we were killing millions of people, right? Like, we were thousands of people at a time. We were bombing one another, slaughtering one another, putting in camps, right? It was to that level, right? And then the generation the next comes, which is my parents' generation, right? A little maybe two more. But they fell in love. My father was stationed in the military in Japan. My mother, was a woman living in Japan. They met one night dancing, and they fell in love, and they had me. So if it wasn't for Pearl Harbor, if it wasn't for Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? If it wasn't for the Tokyo Daikushu, there wouldn't be any military bases in Japan. And if there wasn't any military bases in Japan, my father would have never been to Japan, and I wouldn't exist. So if I represent love and positivity, that means that any negative situation can have a positive outcome. I can be that proof. That's why I choose to be positive. Right. Because I want that war, the most horrific thing that could happen in human history, to produce something love. So now what that does is that inspires the rest of the world, just like right now, right? You and Alex are perfect examples. You guys are a biracial couple. But who's biracial? What? There's only one race. There's only the human race. So there's no biracial couple going on. But then, I'm not, you guys' decision, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you guys have children, and it looks like me, a mixed children, right? Eventually, humanity is going to head towards that direction where there's going to be a lot more. It's more rare to be like just 100% one ethnicity. You know what I mean? Like, so eventually we're always heading towards that direction where we're going to be under one race. So I feel like I am already there because I'm biracial. I was too white for the Japanese kids growing up, and I was too Japanese for the white kids or Asian. You know what I mean? So I need people to start looking at people as one race. So when all this Black Lives Matter things were happening, and social injustices were happening, how am I supposed to feel about that? It's like, wow, we can't even acknowledge each other as one race here. Like, what am I supposed to feel?
For sure.
So that's why, for me, and and long story short, just like you, I started interviewing leaders, Black leaders, during that time. Everybody was vocalizing their opinions. Oh, we should feel this way. We should feel that way. No. We should be learning. We should be listening. Because when I was a kid and I had a racial incident and I got pissed or I reacted a certain way, the teachers who were willing to listen to how I felt, they made everything easier. The ones that were trying to tell me how to feel or how to act, I'm like, who are you to try to tell me? You don't wear my shoes. So that's why I started interviewing people, because I wanted to show that I listen, not tell people, hey, we need to start listening more. That's just adding fuel to the fire, So long story short, sorry for throwing all that.
No, you're good, man. I think being the example is so much more important than stating or reporting what the example looks like. Nobody pays attention to what you say more so than what you do, right? You can say everything that you want, but then if what you do counteracts what you say, you now lose credibility as far as your influence on the people that you said those things to, right? But I think that sometimes just closing your mouth and being the example is such a powerful thing to do, right? Like, for me, man, I got asked so many times, what do you think about Black Lives Matters? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And like, I sat in a place of working all the time, or being in the office space all the time, or working on my nonprofit all the time, or working on my public speaking business all the time, right? And so, you know, I transparently would state, man, I don't really know. I haven't really had the time to sit down and try to figure that out. But I do know that, you know, we are supposed to be all in one body, and we were supposed to be all in the same accord of progression in life and in community and unity, right? So I just started Avenue Chat and then the Avenue Speak series and introducing Black leaders and white leaders and Hispanic leaders, and not only interviewing Black leaders because specifically I didn't feel like only Black voices mattered in it, because I just felt like we needed to understand all parties' perspective and all parties' point of view so that we can come up with a dialogue that truly gave some type of perspective about resolve. I think that open conversation just truly matters, and it adds transparency so that we can understand, right? So for me, because I I always go with the concept of we need to understand so that we can overstand, because understanding is just, it's just like consuming the knowledge or consuming the wisdom or consuming the perspectives, but then overstanding is what we do with that we consumed. Right? So then after, mapping out what we consumed, right? So that we can put the application in and put the work in.
Yes. Knowledge without execution is knowledge wasted, is what you're saying.
Or knowledge is power is a lie. Or no, what are you saying? Yeah. What do they say in school? Is knowledge is power. And I hate that. I wish we would stop teaching that in school. But I just think that that's half the battle or half the concept.
Ooh, and that's why, dude,
right?
You're a man. And that's why in today's society, we're always arguing. It's about who's right lately. It's just about, oh, I know this, I know about this, I know about this, I know about that. This is what I know. It's like, who cares? If somebody tells me 2 + 2 is 5, I said word.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was like, okay, explain that to me. What do you yeah. What do you, I mean, because I'm trying to understand how you got there, right? Like I would always, I used to give all these random math problems to my students when I was doing substance abuse counseling, and maybe I'll start redoing this again. I think this was a cool concept. I would always ask them, hey man, what is 352 divided by 68? And they would try to figure it out. And then I'd be like, all right, cool. So what is 552 plus 1,600 and blah, 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 point, data, right? And they would try to actually figure it out. But then I wanted them to understand that the answer to every single math problem that I asked is always 1. Reason being is because if you understand and if you identify that there is only one mission in life, that is to grow and understand so that you can overstand, so that you can apply wisdom and knowledge, so that you can be better than what you were the day before or right now, and attain your goal, your vision, your mission that God has for you, that you've understood for yourself, that you've stepped into the calling in your life. That's only one thing. So the answer is always 1 to everything, right? It's not 300, 3,000, blah, 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 blah. It's just 1. And you may figure out the actual answer to that specific problem, but then actually just that answer to that specific problem and your act of coming to that solution is just the means to the 1.
I wrote that down. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you've given me some good stuff as well. I like that, man. I like the vibes. It's good. Right. So reality, tell your story.
Tell your vision.
Tell your vision. I keep saying that. I looked at it like 50 times today. Because Alex was like, it's reality, tell your vision. And I even looked at it last night and today before I came, and I still can't say it right. I'm having a problem today.
Oh, man. It's all good.
I hope you forgive me.
Of course.
So reality, tell your vision.
Correct.
When did you start it? Why did you start that particular portion of the journey? Because, I think that installing certain methods of doing things is very important as far as the timing that they're actually been done.
Yeah, like you said, the timing, right? Life definitely happened for me. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people stress, right, every single day. What am I supposed to do? What is my purpose?
Mm.
You're not supposed to know. Because if you knew, where's the fun of it? Life has to happen for you. You know, this gentleman that you see behind me up at the very top, that's my grandpa. You know, he was a big reason why I came to America.
Mm.
So when he died, that's when I figured out what my purpose was, or at least, you know, a legacy to continue. And
Mm.
that was to positively impact people, you know, because I saw so many people show up at his funeral, man, and I realized that this is what success looks like.
Mm.
It's not the money flaunting and the
Yeah.
twerking around you and the Bentleys behind you
Mm.
that society portrays to be,
Yeah.
or all this fancy vacations and their new Louis bags and all that. Like, it's not that. It's how many people did you impact? How many people are going to show up at your funeral and say, I was so glad Casey was a part of my life.
Mm.
So that became my mission.
Mm.
And he had this ability to connect with people through communication. So I changed my business, you know, degree from business to communication. And that's when I started rolling. That's where I met Alex, you know, at that school. And
Yeah.
I started rolling, right? I was hungry. I did everything that I could, you know, within, right? All the behind the scenes work,
Mm-hmm.
which ended up leading me to an internship with the Lions, the Detroit Lions.
Right. Right.
And I learned from the best as far as like production goes,
Mm-hmm.
and how to create content, and how to tell people stories, how to make people feel important, right? Through the storytelling
Yeah.
aspect. So I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? After the internship was over, I didn't get a full-time job. I had to go back to school. And I was like, life is always happening for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take this opportunity as, oh, I didn't get a job. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start my own thing because this is what I really, really want to do. So I
Yeah.
did. And fortunately for me, I was a good human being first. My job is to positively impact people. I don't need a camera to positively impact you. I can
Right.
impact you by the conversation I have with you.
Right.
So every person that I met in the organization, I was always like this because this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't discriminate whether you're an executive, a player, or a custodian, or however people like to divide ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. I was kind to everybody. And a lot of people, you know, players, former and current players, were like, you know what? I dig his energy. I'm gonna hire him to do my off-season foundation camps, to
Mm-hmm.
film that. And that's how it kind of started. And then after that, a lot of the executive people, you know, people who worked in the organization were going to different companies, you know, or working other companies, and they remembered me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's kind of how I spread myself, you know, and do some cool gigs, you know, and build with people, camaraderie. So like, that's kind of how it started. It was a very organic process. You know, it wasn't just oh, I want to build a business. It
Mm-hmm.
was more of what do I want to do with my life? Because like your job, right? Your job or your work or whatever you call it, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Like you have one life, and all of the things you do within a day is a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing, like for me, I had to value that time I'm going to be 8 hours a day that I'm going to be spending and making sure that I'm doing something productive that's aligns with my purpose, which is to positively impact people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like that's when your creative brain starts kicking in and you start to figure out, okay, how can I add value?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I did it, you know, and I love it. I love it because it's a never ending growing process, you know, and I'm thankful to feel. I think depression, the antidote to depression is progression for
Mm-hmm.
me. So, you know, I see when the business is slow, I felt that, especially this year, I felt that depression, you know, because
Wait, go back, go back. You said
yeah,
the answer to depression is what?
progression.
Regression. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
that's what I feel has been
Right.
working for me.
Right.
Um, so
Right.
for me, like, you know, it's just I'm just learning, you know, and it's been a wonderful journey. I'm thankful for it.
Come on. Come
And I
on.
found it, and listen, the last thing I'll say about it, I found that journey because you have to realize that like there is no such thing as competition, you know, especially as guys, right? We grow up, like I played
Yes.
basketball, and
Yes.
if we didn't win, if somebody blocked my shot, if somebody
Hmm.
crossed me up, like
Yes.
you're a failure, you're a loser. That's
Yeah.
not how life is. You know, you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
competing with anybody. You
Yeah.
literally have to look inwardly to figure out what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So there is no competition, you know, and when you find your lane and you try to manifest within that,
Mm.
and you respect other people and their time and their life, like that's when you find fulfillment, you know, and that's what I've been realizing, I guess. That's what I believe in. And I don't know if I'm right or not, but that's what I believe in.
Well, does that perspective work? Like,
For me.
right. So if that perspective works for you, who in the hell can tell you that that perspective is wrong? Right?
Yeah.
So it works and it's progressive because progressive is the antidote to depression, right? Which I actually have an alternative perspective to look at that, or maybe just like, I don't know, another arrow to put in quiver that goes on your back, right? Um, so I used to always tell my clients, man, look, is it depression or is it deep rest in? Because I'm a huge person of like just pulling words apart, and I think that's just the poet in me, and then taking them and flipping them and using them to give you insightful perspective that is progressive, right? So it's just kind of a cyclical thing. We just talking words that mean different things or breaking things apart to give you kind of an antidote for mental disposition that might be not progressive or negative, or give you kind of like um a dormant idea or a dormant personality maybe at that point in time, right? So depression, deep rest in for me is because a lot of times with mental health and depression is people end up being very stagnant or very just kind of what I like to call staiosis, where they just stay in and they don't do anything and they get very just kind of emotional.
I
And
was there.
yeah, and they advocate for that, right? And so, you know, I would always tell people, man, listen, you just need to take a deep rest and look within, and no matter what, get you a notebook, get you a pen, write down your purpose and stick with that. Now, here's the deal, because I have like, so I also do this. I have two rules for life, and these are the only two rules for life that I have, period. Doesn't matter what anybody wants to add to it. I don't add any more rules. They can add more rules if they want to, but it does not work for me to add any more rules. And rule number one for me is go to your room. Rule number two is write this down. It's not write that down. It's not write anything down, but write this down. Because if you write this down or you focus on the word this, then you're focused on the exact moment at this present time right now, because those are the only things that allow you to gain perspective that are powerful or influential over your life. And giving yourself things that are influential over your life are the only things that give you influence or power over other people's life appropriately. Because if you don't take care of that, then you can't do anything for anybody else, right? So deep rest in was big for me. And then I'm gonna add the progression in somewhere because I think that's cool. That's like another notch, right? So thank you for that, man. I think that's cool. But go to your room and write this down for me is big, because it's like you're not writing down everything that is positive only or everything that is negative only. You're writing down everything. If you're hungry, write down you're hungry. If you want to cuss someone out, write down, man, I hate that person. Write it down, because it's your journal. It's what you're writing down. It's what gives you the freedom to release whatever emotions that you have at that point in time, or this point in time, right? Because we're talking about this point in time, not what happened yesterday. Of course, you're holding on to the baggage of what happened yesterday, but you got to have release from that somehow. So if you're still holding on to it, then it's affecting you right now in this moment, right? Write it down. Write down that person made you mad. Write down what that person said made you want to slap them in the face. So, you know, you raised your hand up, but you put it down because you realized that that was going to give you some negative consequences and make you feel internally in a way that is not good, or continue this perpetual cyclical cycle, right? Write it down. Now, the next step to do that is only circle the things that you need to harbor, things you need to keep. Let the rest go away. Now, keep your piece of paper, because your piece of paper can use as a reflection journal or dialogue to say, man, I really was feeling messed up that day. Then write the date on it so that you can catalog what the time frame was, right? But for me, is going to your room and writing this down is big. Now, what does your room look like? Right? It's always important to identify what your room needs to look like or what it should look like, because it doesn't need to look like your bed and the four walls that are surrounded by that. I'm not talking about that. For me, my room looks like a room full of drums, because that is the most appropriate place that I can go to most of the time and not be distracted by all of the outside things. It needs to be a place where you can go and not be distracted mentally, right? So for me, most of the time it looks like a room full of drums, or outside playing with my dogs, because I'm not really thinking about anything but playing with my dogs, or inside laying on the ground playing with my dogs, or maybe inside stretching, doing yoga or whatever, or push-ups, because I'm a huge fan of push-ups, right? You know, and sometimes I'll go into a room and I'll start with doing push-ups after I grab out my notepad. But understanding what your room needs to look like, and understanding that you have the freedom to write this down and everything that exists, so that you can effectively process what needs to happen next. Right.
That's me soaking it in. That's the noise it makes.
It's a good noise. It's like eating a good piece of pizza.
Yeah.
It's like Alex and I ordering this Napoli's pizza at Knack and eating it the first bite every single weekend she comes into town.
And you're like, That's awesome, man. Wow. It's been an epic conversation.
Yeah, man.
I got my notes. Yeah. Whew.
We'll just have to do it again sometime.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me anything you want, man.
What are your 3 gratitudes today?
I knew that question was coming. Water.
Water.
Morning coffee. Can I give you 4?
Yes.
Water, morning coffee, morning workouts, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and waking up in Tyler at Alex's apartment.
Wait, is she there right now?
Yeah.
Has she been listening the whole time?
Whole time.
What's up, Alex?
She typically does, man. She typically tries to listen to
She's
all
so
my
quiet.
podcasts, man. She does that on purpose. You know that's hard for her to be quiet.
That's amazing. Can she hop on as special guest and share her 3 gratitudes?
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah. How do I do that? Request to join?
I don't know that she can request to join. I think it's an only 2 thing. I don't know.
Yeah, she needs to come to you right now.
Oh, okay. Come on.
3 gratitudes.
She's coming.
Special guest.
She's coming. Let's get this back so she can get up in here. All right, baby.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Alex?
I was sitting on the couch with my cats, admiring your conversation.
Your sister is so mean.
She says, "I see her anyways." Bye. So my 3 gratitudes are my cats. I was just cuddling with them over on the couch. Definitely keeping me company. Casey's patience. Last night I had too much wine to drink, and he was very patient with me. And my access to good food. You know, a lot of people struggle during this pandemic, especially, I mean, all the time, but especially right now. And I have been able to, have a job and been able to afford groceries and healthy, nutritious food. And so when myself woke up hungover this morning, I was very grateful.
Or the eggs and all that, yeah.
Be able to put in that food. So my healthy, my cats and Casey's patience is my 3 today.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
All right.
Special guest.
Yeah.
Let me share my 3 gratitudes, okay?
Of course, man.
I'm gonna have to say this conversation. This was a very powerful conversation. I'm looking at the comment box. You know, I'm
Mm.
focusing on listening to you, but I'm looking at the comment box, and I saw
Yeah,
people, you know, coming in and out, leaving
I
positive
I
comments.
like the hearts coming up, man. That's all.
Yeah, the hearts, man. Like, you know, for me, like I won. You know, I woke up, I won. Right? I got to have this conversation with you. I won. But now we're winning because we were able to impact people. Right? Some
Mm.
people listen to this and say, you know what? Like that was. I'm grateful I got to listen to that conversation. So,
Yeah.
you know, to those of you who are in that, you know, conversation, or have been commenting, you know, like please share your 3 gratitudes with me or Casey.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna have to say that's number 2 is grateful people. And number 3, man, I'm gonna have to say just the chance to live, you know, like in the world today. You know, like we complain a lot today about, oh my God, the world we live in today. But excuse me, we don't have any pterodactyls flying around, you know, that we got to worry about. We don't
Yeah.
have any like major avalanches going on, you know, and the wiping out and restructuring the entire continents. You know what I mean? Like there's no, you know, asteroids falling from the sky. Like, come on, like the world we live in today is awesome. Do you see this weather? Like, do you see this? Like, you know, like, so I love it, man. So the world we live in today is my 3rd gratitude.
Cool. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So my question is, do you have any intentional plans today to be kind to yourself?
Yes.
Okay. What are
Would
they?
you like me to share?
Yes. What are
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to walk there because it's nice outside.
they? Ooh.
And I'm going to work, you know, things that
Mm.
I need to get done. So my productivity is there. And I'll meditate before I go to sleep.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay. I ain't
10
meditating.
minutes. 10 minutes guided meditation. I'm a YouTube 10 minutes guided meditation and
Yeah.
just lay in the bed type of guy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Meditation is big, man. I've been off my meditation game. I need to get back into it. I normally do meditation and breathing, and that's like my first portion of my workout is stretch, meditation, breathing.
Hmm.
I'm big into that. I think breath work is huge. It's huge. I used to watch this guy on YouTube. In fact, I started back watching recently. His name is Elliot Hulse. I don't know if you ever watched Elliot Hulse, but he was real big on intentional breathing, so much that um, he coined a concept of breathing called "breathe from your balls." And so I know, right? Like when I first heard it, I had the same look, but it literally is just like diaphragm breathing to the point where you continuous breathe to where you feel it as deep as possible. And he would quote it to the points where it's like, you want to breathe until you feel it down there. And it was just really cool. It was life changing. It actually is an approach that was quite effective. And still is. I just haven't practiced it in a while.
Right on, man. Right on. This has been a really good conversation, I feel.
Yeah,
Very
man.
good conversation.
It's a conversation that I've been waiting to have for quite some time. I've been looking forward to an interaction with you for a while because Alex has talked highly of you. So
Hmm.
been it's been a cool thing to finally have this conversation.
Yeah, man. But I'm about to go soak the sunlight and go to the gym. But
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
Sure.
Casey, let me know. You know, we'll talk. Obviously, I would love to know more about your, you know, like your foundation. You know, how you started that. You know, I would like to have some advice on that too. But if there's anything I can do to add value to you, man, like you know, with what I do, you know,
Yeah,
please always consider me ready and willing, man. I'm glad I had this conversation with you today too, and you know, I know that you're a good human being in your core. I see it. My Asian senses are tingling right now that you're a good human. So I appreciate you for just making this happen, taking the initiative to do this. I'm glad I did.
for sure, man. Hey guys, feel free to. I want to thank Leo for taking part in Avenue Chat today. Feel free to go to my YouTube channel, Avenue Speak, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, man. Get my numbers up. Join Leo on his journey. And we'll see you guys soon. Be blessed, be peaceful, have a good day.
See you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.